Okay, let's unpack this. The Magnificent Seven, I mean, they've really dominated market talk since 2020.
Absolutely, they've been the focus.
But if you really dig into the numbers, which ones have actually performed the best? Which giants truly stand out over these last few years?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking at today. We've got the lineup. Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, that's Google, of course, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla.
Right.
And we're comparing them head-to-head from 2020 through 2024 using their key financials.
And this isn't just about feelings or headlines. We have actual data structured across five key areas.
Exactly. Valuation, profitability, their sales figures, how dominant they are within the specific group, and crucially, their financial strength assets versus liabilities.
It sounds like a solid framework.
It is. We have these 5 tables, a direct comparison. We're looking at ratios like market cap to revenue, PE ratios, EPS trends, revenue growth, their slice of the Mag7 pie, and that assets to liabilities measure. It gives us a pretty objective view.
We're pulling out the highlights, the maybe surprising trends, and just connecting the dots so you can see how these titans really stack up against each other.
And we've added a little something, a kind of scoring system.
Oh.
Yeah, the winner in each category, each table gets 1 point. We'll tally it up at the end, see who comes out on top. Okay, let's get right into it then. First up, valuation. How does the market see these companies? Table 1 shows the price to earnings, the PE ratio as of April 24th, 2025. Now, the PE ratio, it basically gives you a sense of what investors are paying for each dollar the company earns, right?
That's the idea. And a lower PE, well, it can suggest a company might be undervalued compared to its earnings, but, it's just one piece of the valuation puzzle. So looking at the numbers here, Apple's at 33.07, Amazon 33.73, Google is 20.08, Meta 22.33, Microsoft 31.26, NVIDIA 36.20, and then Tesla, a really high 147.45.
Whoa, yeah, 147 for Tesla. That really jumps out compared to the others. Google, though, has the lowest one there, 20.08.
That's right. So just based on this PE ratio snapshot, Google gets the point for valuation. It suggests investors at that moment were paying less per dollar of Google's earnings than for the others in the Mag 7. Tesla's high number, well, that often reflects big expectations for future growth, EVs, energy, stuff beyond just current earnings.
Right. Interesting context on Tesla. Okay, so 1 point to Google. Let's move on. Table 2, profitability. We're looking at earnings per share, EPS, from 2021 to 2024. EPS is pretty fundamental, isn't it? How much profit per share of stock?
Absolutely. It's a direct look at the bottom line. And looking at these numbers, you see some pretty different stories. Apple's EPS, it's been fairly stable, around $6. Amazon actually dipped into negative EPS in 2022, then came back. Google shows pretty steady growth, reaching $8.04 in 2024.
And Meta. Looks like they had a drop in 22, but then, wow, a huge comeback. $23.86 in 2024. Microsoft, steady climb up to $11.80. NVIDIA. Well, that's just explosive growth, isn't it? From 39 cents, almost $3, driven by all that AI chip demand, I guess.
Yeah, definitely fueled by demand for their GPUs and AI data centers, all that. Huge jump. And Tesla, well, they peaked in 2023 in this data, then saw a bit of a dip in EPS for 2024. So considering that really high $23.86 EPS in 2024 and the overall growth curve.
It has to be Meta for profitability.
Yes, Meta takes the point for profitability. It's quite striking how different these profit pictures look across the group.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's shift gears to table 3, annual sales, revenue. This is about sheer size, right? And how consistently they bring in the cash.
Exactly. And this table really highlights the massive scale we're talking about. Amazon is consistently the leader in total revenue here, big numbers, and growing every year. Almost $638 billion in 2024. Apple's huge too, of course, though there was that little dip in 2023 revenue before bouncing back. Google and Microsoft, both showing solid, steady revenue growth.
Then Meta, right? They grew strongly in the later years after a flatter 2022. NVIDIA's revenue growth is just, well, it's kind of hard to ignore. Doubled from 22 to 23, then almost doubled again in 24. Tesla had strong growth earlier on, but looks like it kind of plateaued in 2024 in this data. And the total for the whole group just keeps getting bigger and bigger each year.
It really does show the collective power, but for the leader in just pure scale and consistent revenue growth across this period, we'd have to give that point to Amazon. Highest revenue and steady increases.
Okay, point Amazon for sales. Now, table 4 is about dominance. So here it's not just total revenue, but their slice of the combined Mag 7 revenue pie. And crucially, is that slice getting bigger? We're looking for who's gaining influence within the group.
Right. It's about relative power among these giants. And what we see is interesting. Apple's share of the total Mag7 revenue actually went down over these 4 years. Amazon's share, pretty stable, actually, around 32%. Google's share slipped a little bit too. Meta and Microsoft both showed some modest growth in their share.
But then, NVIDIA, their share starts tiny, like below 2%. Then it jumps over 3% in 2023, and then bam, 6.47% in 2024. That's a huge increase in share. Tesla's share went up, then down again. So that NVIDIA surge, what does that signal? A new power player really emerging within the seven.
It definitely looks that way. Based on that significant growth in revenue share, the clear winner for dominance has to be NVIDIA. That's their first point. It really highlights their growing importance, driven by those factors we mentioned.
Fascinating shift. Okay, last category, table 5. Financial strength. We're using the assets to liabilities ratio here.
Yeah.
Basically, how much stuff they own versus how much they owe. A higher ratio generally means a stronger financial position, more of a safety net, right?
Exactly. It's a good indicator of resilience, long-term stability. Looking at the ratios, Google stands out. Consistently high, always above 3, and actually increasing steadily. Meta started super high, over 4, but it's trended down a bit, though still strong around 3. Microsoft shows consistent improvement, getting stronger each year, hitting 2.1. Amazon also improving consistently, reaching 1.84.
Okay. And Apple, what's pretty stable around 1.2 or so?
Yeah, relatively stable. NVIDIA is a bit more volatile, but shows a strong upward trend overall, reaching 3.46. And Tesla also shows steady improvement, up to 2.52.
So quite a few improving there. But who gets the point for the best overall picture of financial strength?
Given that consistently high level and the steady increase on top of that, we give the point for financial strength to Google.
Okay, Google gets another one. All right, let's do the final tally. We had valuation that went to Google, profitability Meta took that one, annual sales, scale and stability, Amazon got the point there, dominance, growing share, NVIDIA, and financial strength just now Google again.
So adding that up, we have Meta with 1 point, Amazon with 1, NVIDIA with 1, and Google with 2 points.
So based on these 5 specific metrics and this time frame, Google comes out as the overall leader in our analysis.
That's right. 2 points for Google makes them the top performer in this particular head-to-head.
That's pretty interesting, actually. You know, Google winning on valuation and financial strength. Maybe not always the flashiest headlines compared to, say, NVIDIA's growth or Apple's size, but strong fundamentals here. But like we said at the start, this is just one way to slice the data, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial to remember that. Change the metrics, change the time frame, you could easily get a different result. What this analysis really does is highlight the different kinds of strengths within the Mag7. You see Meta's profit power, Amazon's sheer scale, NVIDIA's incredible momentum and growing influence, Google's underlying financial stability and relative valuation, Apple's steady presence, Microsoft's consistent growth, Tesla's unique position. It's a diverse group.
It really is. So for you listening, maybe the question to think about is, what matters most to you? Is it that rock-solid financial strength like Google showed here? Isn't it the explosive growth like NVIDIA, the profitability of Meta, the scale of Amazon? Depending on your own priorities, your own winner among these tech giants might look quite different. Definitely something to mull over, and maybe encourages you to dig even deeper beyond just this snapshot we've discussed today.